Hey, Adventure Kids, and good morning. Well, we've started a brand new year, and just think, we have a whole new year for God to do some amazing things in our life. Oh, hey, Pascal, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm just waiting.
Oh, what are you waiting for?
I'm waiting for God to do something really big and amazing in my life. Any minute now, something extraordinary should happen.
Oh, well, that's exciting, Pascal. But you know what? God doesn't always do something really big when we're waiting on Him. Sometimes God asks us to obey Him, and that's when He does really big, amazing things in our life. In fact, that's exactly what happens in today's Bible story. God asks a man named Abraham to do some really difficult things, but He does some really big, amazing things in his life.
So, God might ask us to do something difficult? Really?
Yep. In fact, when we trust God big, He does big things. And that's our Bible point for today. So let's jump right into our Bible story and see what happens. God knew that his secret rescue plan could only work if Abraham trusted Him completely. God had to make sure Abraham would do whatever He asked. So, a few years later, God asked Abraham to give him a present. Abraham liked giving presents to God. He gave God his animals. They were called sacrifices, and they were a way to say, "I love you" to God. But this time, God didn't want a lamb or a goat. God wanted Abraham to give him something more, much more. He wanted Abraham to give him his son, his only son, the son he loved, Isaac. Put his boy on the altar and kill him as a sacrifice? How could God want him to do such a terrible thing? Abraham didn't understand, but he knew that God was his father and he loved him. And so Abraham trusted Him. Early the next morning, Abraham and Isaac set off. They climbed the steep, stony trail up the mountain. Isaac carried the wood on his back. His father carried the knife and the coals.
Papa,
Isaac said,
we have everything except we forgot the lamb for the sacrifice.
God will give us the lamb, son.
Abraham said. They built an altar and laid the wood on top. Abraham asked his son to climb on top of the wood. Isaac didn't understand, but he knew his father loved him. And so he trusted him. He climbed up onto the altar, and Abraham tied his boy to the wood. Isaac didn't struggle or try to run away. He just lay there quietly and didn't make a sound. Everything was ready. Abraham took the knife. Tears were filling up his eyes. Pain was filling up his heart. His hand was shaking. He lifted the knife high into the air.
Why do melons have weddings? Because they can't elope. Hilarious. How does Moses make his coffee? He brews it. How does a penguin build its house? He glues it together. That there was funny.
Abraham took the knife. Tears were filling up his eyes. Pain was filling up his heart. His hand was shaking. He lifted the knife high into the air. "Stop," God said. "Don't hurt the boy. I want him to live and not die. I know now that you love me because you would have given me your only son." Abraham felt his heart leap with joy. He unbound Isaac and folded him in his arms. Great sobs shook the old man's whole body. Scalding tears filled his eyes, and for a long time they stayed there like that, in each other's arms, the boy and his dad. Suddenly Abraham saw a ram caught in some brambles. the sacrifice. God had given them what they needed just in time. The ram would die, so Isaac didn't have to. And so Abraham sacrificed the ram instead of his son. And as they sat there on the mountaintop, watching the embers of the fire die in the cool night air, the stars above them sparkling in the velvet sky, God helped Abraham and Isaac understand something. God wanted his people to live, not die. God wanted to rescue his people, not punish them. But they must trust him. One day, someone will be born into your family, God promised them, and he will bring happiness to the whole world. God was getting ready to give the whole world a wonderful present. It would be God's way of telling his people, I love you. Many years later, another son would climb another hill, carrying wood on his back. Like Isaac, he would trust his father to do what his father asked. He wouldn't struggle or run away. Who was he? God's son, his only son, the son he loved, the Lamb of God. And that's our story.
Oh, I get it now. God might ask us to do something that doesn't make sense, but when we trust him big, God can do big things.
That's exactly right, Pascal. In fact, that's our Bible point. When we trust God big, he does big things.
Wow! You know what I would have done if I was Abraham and Isaac after God provided the ram?
What's that, Pascal?
Roasted some marshmallows on the fire. Toasted mallows are my favorite.
Sounds great, Pascal. Have an adventurous week, everyone.
So hey Adventure Kids, this is a part of the show where you send in your questions to me, Jake, and I answer them. So let me grab my mailbag. Hi Jake, why did God send his only son? Why didn't he keep him? From Mackenzie. Well, that is an awesome question. Well, the simplest reason is because of love. You see, the only way for us to be rescued from our sin was for a perfect sacrifice to be made. And the only person who could be that perfect sacrifice was God's son. And as you can imagine, losing his son would have been heartbreaking for God. But he did it for one reason: love. God loved us so much, he gave his one and only son for us to be rescued. Hi Jake, can you make Pastor Steve laugh in a try not to laugh challenge? From Alex. I think I can.
All right, here we go. All right, I can smile, right? I gotta be able to smile. There's no way I can do it without smiling, so. Why does a spatula get me? You hit me with a spatula.
So remember, if you have questions for me, Jake, just go to the website, takeawaywithjake.com, and I'll be happy to answer your questions right here on the show.